Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true.
Welcome to National United podcast by 8 seasons in a row. I'm Mr. Fernandez, and
I'm Chris J. Wardner. Hello.
we're reviewing 5th Anniversary, which is directed by Tom Tribovich and written by Winifred Hervey and Cheryl Alou. I bet you Chris has got some facts about them.
Oh, yes, indeed.
I know a little something about Winifred Hervey because I know she went on to do a lot of stuff in sitcoms.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got a great interview on the Foundation website.
Ooh.
The American Television Academy Foundation website. Talking about how she got her start with Gary Marshall and how she got her start in Laverne and Shirley.
Oh.
It's really nice. I recommend it. We'll probably link it. And we know that Tom Tribovich absolutely has directed a ton of Laverne and Shirley episodes. He's going to basically direct most of season 7.
Yeah, this is his third episode with 33 more to go.
Yep. He basically owns season 7. There's like 3 other directors in season 7. It's mostly all him all the time. But he mostly directed that season. So, yeah. That's the preview of the future, y'all. And here's what this episode's about. Frank and Edna's 5th anniversary has rolled around, and Laverne and Shirley plan to throw them a private party at their tilting thanks to a broken axis, which Frank keeps forgetting to fix trailer. Edna is extremely annoyed with Frank, who seems to have forgotten their anniversary because he's been busy preparing for an appearance on national television to promote the Cowboy Bills brand. As the party disastrously plays out, Frank continues to insist they remember their anniversary. Just when all hope seems lost, Frank pulls out a surprise that proves he really does care about Edna. So what do you think about this one?
Well, if the trailer comes a knocking, you may want to make sure that the axis hasn't gotten lopsided there, and then everybody's tilting around, and it's turned into some weird tilt-a-whirl orgy in there. This was a very cute one.
Yeah.
I wish I liked it more. We'll kind of get into that because I love Frank and Edna stuff, and Edna and Frank, although they haven't been as prominent through this season, there are moments through through and through that they have been incredible. We were talking in High Price Dates how Edna gets like some of the best girl talk with the girls that they pretty much have ever had through the series.
Yeah.
I love those types of stories, and I almost wonder if what it is that the plot for this one and the mechanics of the plot of this one are almost a little too simple, that it kind of feels held back. But at least that was my initial thought. I mean, I've had even trouble like going back to this multiple times for notes because I just kind of glaze over.
Yeah. This one I like better than you. I have a lot of fondness for it. I love the feeling of Frank and Edna's relationship continuing to develop and grow. I love all the ridiculous shenanigans within the trailer. I love that Frank really does care, and he deliberately did that on purpose.
Yeah, he wanted to surprise her. Yeah,
just to surprise her, just to make her happy. And that proves how much he's changed and how much he cares, compared to the Lothario that he kind of quasi-Lothario that he was back in season 2 before they started to date.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's really nice. I really, really enjoy this one. I love all the little gags. It bubbles just under my top 5 for the season, I think. But it's really good for me. To me, it's really good. So this confirms it's been 5 years since Frank and Edna were married, and it's been 5 years since season 5 passed on.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting in of itself. It shows you how much time we've lost.
Right, because we've had this time jump, because at the time of this recording, we're also putting out the season 5 episodes, and we think we've landed somewhere in 62, 63.
Yes.
In the season 5 episode, because we're recording this the day we just put up The Right to Light. So this is really where the timeline, I think, starts to get kind of messy, because 5-year anniversary would imply 1967, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yep, and that's completely wrong, because we're supposed to be in 1965 for those banners. Every time we see them in the opening credits, 1965 this year.
Right, and you mentioned that next year it moves up to 66, right?
Yep, and it's 67 when the show concludes.
Weird. Okay, that is wild.
Yeah. So somehow 4 years got black holed here, and we don't know how.
Forget it, Jack. It's Marshallverse.
Yeah. This is also true. Let's not get like Evil Dead timeline bogged down.
Yeah. Or the Mariachi trilogy, where it's like there's sort of the last movie sort of took place.
Yeah. There's almost continuity, but not quite.
Right.
Or everybody's just kind of giving up on continuity and going, here, have fun.
Right.
Have some brain candy.
Yeah, because like at least like with like James Bond movies and Godzilla movies also famously did this back in the 60s and 70s. There was never a continuous continuity, but there was always like a knowledge that the first movie and maybe a couple of the early ones had happened, and that was kind of it. But that they were always new stories. They could reuse the same actors for different roles and etc.
Yeah.
But that's the weird thing is because Laverne and Shirley as a show doesn't really work well in that format. Actually, it always seems to work stronger when it has continuity. And so whenever these weird gaps take place, it's always very strange. Anyway, it's not to belabor the point, but it's definitely one of those details that don't think about it too much if you want to enjoy the episode.
Yeah. There are small things to large things that don't make any sense. Golden Girls has equally weird gaps in it, so, there's not a precursor to being a great show that everything about your show needs to make linear, complete sense. We'll say that much for it. But, yeah, somehow they've been married for 5 years and it is still 1965, so... You can either say that about a year and a half has been black holed into the ether, or you can say 4 years has.
Yep.
Depending on where you want to go there. Depending on what you want to do.
But, yeah.
So we get Health Nut Shirley here.
Yes, which, oh my God, Shirley, why are you my mom? Why are you my mom?
Health Nut Shirley, Self-Improvement Nut Shirley, trying to get healthy, doing her disgusting smoothies. I know your mom does smoothies. I didn't know she does really, like, kale heavy.
She does, because part of it's just because, she had a dentist, mangle her jaw, so she... gets protein doing romaine lettuce and apple juice.
Oh, I knew part of this, but I didn't know.
Yeah, the kale blueberry the kale smoothies are more like the blueberry with some kale for nutrients, and then apple juice and raspberry sorbet for flavor and texture and all that. Those are really tasty.
I've actually heard of those. I've heard of how to make those. Usually some yogurt in there.
Yeah. Sometimes we do that. Sometimes, but mostly what we do is we put there's like those juices you can get from like Trader Joe's or somewhere. It's a whole bunch of really healthy juice, like beets and berries and stuff like that, and antioxidant heavy stuff. So, but that being said, I do love the exchange. Something your body has been craving for a long time.
Paul Newman.
Woke up on the smut side of the bed this morning. Which, I mean, come on, who doesn't who doesn't wake up on the smut side of the bed?
Yeah. I'm sure there's some kind of people who don't wake up on the smut side of the bed. You get sex repulsed folks, you get ace folks who don't go there. But I cannot blame Laverne for lusting after Paul Newman. Good Lord.
Yeah. Oh, especially this time.
1965 Paul Newman. Hello.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good choice. Anyway, I was going to mention, by the way, before we get off the topic of smoothies, I have a recipe for an M&M smoothie.
We're gonna have to. I have a feeling we have a conversation off pod to have about that one.
It exists. I have a bunch of cookbooks, and it's like, it's in a kid recipe cookbook that I got back when I was a kid.
Aw.
M&M smoothie. They have a nice healthy version. You have a strawberry banana smoothie, and you have your multi-fruit smoothie, and then M&M smoothie.
God, I mean that sounds about as healthy as sugar frosted Happy Nuts.
Hey, that is a great fictional product name. I love that. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Notice that the door across from the girls is marked private.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's Lenny and Squiggy's apartment is supposed to be. Usually they have something like all girls this way, something like that on their door. But it could be them. So I noticed that in the background. I thought that was very interesting. Poor Edna is in such a tizzy here. And I can't blame her.
Oh, yeah.
I remember last year, it was because she slept in her wedding dress. And it's like, I love that dress too, and I'm so sad to hear that she remade it into curtains.
Yeah, I remember us really going gaga over the dress when we did the wedding episode last season, and I don't take the good dress. You gotta find a way to preserve it. And curtains is not preserving it.
Yeah, even if she's an older woman, she doesn't think she's gonna get married again, she could remake it into a party dress.
Totally.
She could remake, or give it to one of her daughters, or give it to Laverne. A little bit of tailoring. Ta-da!
But regarding the scene, though, I also wanted to quickly just we'll be getting into this. I love Edna being a person. Be person, Edna. Just the venting is so cute and needed and human, and I love it.
Yeah, it's so good. My other note was Edna and that Minnie. I love Edna. in the scene. That's Edna downing that drink, but then skipping. Is one of my notes. Oh, I love her was another note. All the big chunk. Betty Garrett lives any scene they give her with meat on it.
Mm-hmm.
High Price Dates, as you pointed out, lived that scene, chewed it up, swallowed every last little morsel. Here she's also doing that. She's finally been given something to play after basically a season of standing in the background, kind of delivering occasional bonbons.
Exactly.
So she deserves all the press that she gets and all the goodness that she gets to do. I love that Frank is very comfortable usually behind a microphone.
Mm-hmm.
And very usually comfortable, but he just kind of freezes if you point a camera at him there.
Mm-hmm. Which makes me wonder if Laverne ever used this tactic with her photo camera when she was a kid.
Possibly. Very possibly. This will be a semi-recurrent thing in season 8, though he becomes more comfortable with it. There's going to be a storyline, we'll get there. But Frank kind of freezes up totally and has no idea what to do because the whole world is about to see him promoting Cowboy Bills quasi-prepared slop, so to speak. Which is really pretty much basically hinted is.
Right, yeah. Yeah, because it's sort of implying it's a franchise thing where they sort of get the processed frozen stuff, you know.
Yep. That's the first time we ever hear that, and it's kind of surprising that Frank, after years of hand-making pizzas, is just like, we're just going to slop the canned barbecue sauce all over the ribs and shove them in the oven.
Yeah, I honestly can't see him. I feel like he has too much pride to do that, but it might just be him mellowing with age. And it could also be that the money he's making is so much better that, you know, when you find, it's like, I never knew that, you know, possibly you didn't have to work for a living.
This actually comes up in season 8 because he becomes tired of serving processed slop. This is a plot point that happens. We'll get there too.
Interesting.
He eventually does express his dismay about having to do chain restaurant food.
So my note here is Frank's dense. Is he dense or is he just being very, very coy?
He's being coy. He knows his anniversary's coming up. He's trying to be oblivious. So nobody will catch on. Because obviously he wouldn't be so adamant about going, I remember this anniversary later on if he didn't genuinely remember at the time. That's
what I was thinking too.
Yeah. I think even with the girls desperately trying to jog his memory, he already knew. And he had pre-planned this and figured it would be a nice little gift for his wife. I love the extremely stressed out newscaster.
Yes.
Interview him who is done with his crap. Who booked him? I'm going to go tease my hair.
Well, first of all, I love the delivery of the "I'm going to tease my hairline." So, did you recognize that actor who played Hillary Hinkle, the newscaster?
Yes, she looks extremely familiar. I did not take down her name, but she's extremely familiar to me.
That is Timothy Blake. Dinner for Four.
Yes, I knew her face is familiar. Darn it. Yes, that's her.
And they will be
living this role too.
And they will be returning in The Baby Show, as we discussed before. And as we also had mentioned, Blake was another character actor, lots of TV appearances from Starsky and Hutch to Bob Newhart. They were the one that became VP at the Screen Actors Guild for a while, and including being a recording secretary for the SAG Foundation and an executive officer of the pension and health plans for almost 30 years. So that's pretty rad.
Wow, that's cool.
By the way, also the director is another returning actor. Again, he seemed familiar to me. I remember noting that in our conversation when we were watching the episode. That's Ray from Not Quite New York.
Oh. Okay. I should have totally recognized his face. Because, you'll get real close. Boy, get close enough to him so that, because even between the making outs, you can see his face. Cheryl, Vern, Ray.
But and so as we mentioned before, he went on to be a regular on Roxy, LA Law. He got 11 episodes of Days of Our Lives, and actually was a pretty active actor all the way through the 1990s. So it's kind of funny to see him just pop up here at this time as this is like very much like an early bit. He even was like a regular on Dawson's Creek for a while.
Wow.
For like 4 or 5 episodes or something like that.
That's nice. I had no idea.
Yeah. So I want to mention that, while we're talking about this scene, I like the It has been nice with them moving to Hollywood and doing these sort of meta humor jokes about behind the camera filmmakers and TV personality and newscasters, all that sort of stuff. I felt this part was cute. I kind of wish there had been more.
Yeah.
I almost kind of wonder if conflating this with then the news crew trying to ambush them as a surprise in the trailer at the end and adding to the mayhem would have also been fun.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that is a missed opportunity. That would have worked. That would have worked. I'm actually surprised they didn't think to add that in at the end.
Mm-hmm.
In a way, I like the cozy familyness though of everybody. Being stuck there trying to make this happy anniversary party happen between the bickering and the fact that the trailer will not sit still. Mm-hmm. Everything gets thwarted. But I can see that adding to it too. So, yeah, I'm of mixed opinion on that one, but I actually would like to see a version of the episode that features that. I love the lonesome trailer park establishing shot we get when we see the trailer.
Oh my god, yes.
It's so good. I can't decide if moving to a trailer after being in a apartment is an upgrade or a downgrade for the two of them.
Yeah, because it's like the bright side is they don't have neighbors to worry about, making noise and keeping them awake, but at the same time, there's a lot of amenities you don't get.
Yeah. You have to pump your own sewage.
Oh God, that's right.
And you have to, you have to be very responsible with your water supply. Make sure your water supply is hooked up correctly to the trailer park resources.
Yep.
Yeah. It can be a pain in the butt to live in a trailer. It can also be beneficial. You can just pack up and move wherever. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those things that really depends, because I have a family and friends that have done that before. But it's one of those things that depends on how willing you are to spend the time to make sure you got your eye on everything so you don't actually burn your trailer down.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah, especially if you have the secret contract that says you're actually Elvis.
That grill was too close to the trailer, damn it. It's very frank that he is too stubborn to get this axis fixed in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
He could honestly have gotten all this out of the way and done, like years ago in one senses, but months ago. At this point, we might be losing years. But, he could have gotten this done months ago if he just hired a professional. Because they got to be making decent money from Cowboy Bills as a franchisee, since it seems popular, and franchisees do make enough money to get their own houses.
Mm-hmm. Oh, especially at this time in the 60s.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So it's kind of interesting to me that he hasn't either hired a professional or called the head of the... I wonder if the head of the park would even be responsible for something like that. I guess not, because it's their property. So.
Yeah, that's what I would suspect.
Yeah.
It's that you have to maintain it. I could see them getting complaints about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
To the end of Frank being so stubborn, I mean, it now makes the bit about Laverne being stubborn as a mule make so much more sense. It's a father-daughter trait.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a DeFazio trait for sure. Yep. 100%.
Before we get onto the trailer park, though, too much, I do want to mention poor Shirley. The bit where Hillary Hinkle says, "I see your wife was able to make it," about Cheryl.
How skewed is her view of what's age appropriate? That she thinks that's his wife.
Yeah, there's a weirdness to it, but it's also extremely cute. It's
funny.
Any case,
I wanted to mention while we're still on there, Laverne going, "Hey, Milwaukee, last Christmas, 80 degrees."
Yep.
And Mrs. Kolchak got a name drop.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
That's great. "Hi, Mrs. Kolchak, turn your TV set up, darling." I just love Shirley would do that. I could actually push that. That's sweet. So they haven't forgotten home, and we'll see that very much in season 7. They haven't forgotten home. Yes.
That's cool.
So we are in a trailer now. A tilty trailer.
Remaking the moment they first met. I do love the Pizza Bowl sign getting brought along. That was cute.
Same. That's so sweet. And the fact that Frank has bowling balls and bowling pins in the alleys.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
God,
and Shirley, of course, the narrative maker, just trying to tell the story.
Yeah. I wish they met in Paris rather than the Pizza Bowl. And they're so good at divorces. And just the way Laverne brings it up, and the idea that, if they get divorced, it's possible she'll get custody of Laverne, and the restaurants
Right.
and the trailer.
No, yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah, you figure Edna at this point has got, multiple lawyers on speed dial, and they all have the,
Oh yeah. At the very least, she has an ex or somebody who's a good attorney.
mhm.
So I was trying to think. I was trying to make a match up what they eventually say their first meeting was like, because I remember obviously in one heck of a notes, Laverne is approached by Edna and asked if she can introduce the two of them.
Yeah, so August of 58 is, I think, the time period it mentions. That would
Yeah.
be, yeah.
Yeah.
So that would have been, I guess that kind of matches up because one heck of a note implies it's after dating slump and before the two of them sort of getting back together in season 3, as in
Yeah.
Shirley and Carmine get back together in season 3.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so, yeah, okay, August of 58 makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. That actually does fully blend. That actually is a linear, making sense timeline thing. I love that Carmine has taken the two of them out to the amusement park, and he's stuck between them as they bicker.
Oh, yeah. Again, the case of I do seem to like Carmine more when I have to feel sympathy for the poor guy going through something terrible.
Well, it makes it easy to understand what he's been through. I will say that much. I love also, which I think is a subtle reference to the way Cindy and Penny argued about how they would be building the show. And they agreed simultaneously, but one name would be slightly higher than the other. And when the girls are in character standing there arguing about which side of the banner should be higher, what difference does it make? That I was wondering if that was like a little rib from the writing staff.
Oh, I wonder. Oh, that's cute.
I love that. Of course, cake in the faces. No cake can be seen on a sitcom without either going to faces or getting destroyed.
Pretty much, yeah. Unless it's already been cut and is being served.
True. We have had some cakes that managed to successfully make it in the mouths in the anniversary show.
Right.
It was anniversary. And that made it okay. Every other cake, I think that they maybe got smashed in some respect or another. Like Squiggy accidentally buying a real cake for Frank's bachelor party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's that one, and there's another. I know I'm forgetting another one. There is another one.
Yeah, it's somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I love that they did not throw the cake out. They recycled the smashed cake. Everybody's eating the smashed cake.
I mean, that was a pretty big cake. You don't want to let that go to waste, And look, just because if you're gonna mash it up with your fork and you're gonna chew the thing, it's gonna hit your belly in the same condition that it would have if you'd had a regular piece anyway.
True. Notice how tiny the trailer looks from the outside and how big the set is.
Yeah, that is a TARDIS trailer. Yeah, absolutely. It is much bigger on the inside.
Trailer.
It's the kind of trailer that you could stay. I like that on the outside it looks like the trailer you couldn't stage an action scene at all in, and the inside looks like you could fit like a 15-person Shaw Brothers fight scene in here.
Oh yeah. Now I'm just picturing Carmine using Squiggy as a battering ram. I can picture those now. I mean, it happened canonically, but you could use them solo.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but the now I'm realizing I mentioned Shaw Brothers fight scenes and then the tilting of the trailer. And now I'm thinking of the plate fight with Donnie Yen and Sammo Hung and Ip Man 2.
Oh, nice choice. Nice. Notice we get some jumpy footage here, which nobody bothered to correct before putting it on DVD.
Yes, I did notice that. Yeah, it's a bit rough.
We got a couple of technical boo-boos in these last couple episodes, which is interesting in of itself. But Paramount should really be ashamed of themselves for not correcting that, not tracking down. There has to be some master out there somewhere, or some syndicated version out there somewhere, or some master tape somewhere where that flaw doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Either the flaw doesn't exist or at the very least they can, because the main thing is that if they have any of the old, and I'm assuming they do have the old 35mm prints laying around because we've started to see HD, what look to be HD remasters on some of these different streaming services when, like it plays on MeTV and things like that.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then the assets are there. They can do that.
Yeah.
It is a costly process to pull those transfers, but if you can have small little outlets like Severin doing the amazing print transfers that they're doing, I mean, freaking Andy Milligan movies are getting like these 2K negative restorations. So
yeah. You feel like they just don't care.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, the corporation just doesn't care. But there are absolutely 35 millimeter print versions of each episode of the show. You can buy them on eBay. People were circulating them and buying them. And they exist to be shown in 35 millimeter projected on a wall.
Yeah.
Back in the olden days before we had VHS.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people would do, and they do exist. I know this because PAX has a couple.
Man, that just God that leads me to further concerns if they're out in the wild then too. Like, does that mean that a building they moved from one building to the other and some idiot didn't take them out of the storage unit?
But if there are enough versions out there to end up on eBay, that means they were mass produced. It's like looking for that one perfect version of a silent movie.
Yeah,
it hasn't completely disintegrated nitrate-wise. Sometimes you will get lucky, and all of a sudden you will find a complete print hidden in somebody's barn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
that's the kind of thing. Here it's easier because it's mass-produced.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, because film preservation is really interesting in that regard. But yeah, when when these sort of technical mistakes and these like weird, bad lab work and stuff like that, shows up in some of these episodes, I'm always intrigued by the fact that it could be done. Like, High Neighbor Book 2 has got really bad lab work on it because the contrast in the episode, the contrast in colors do not match the rest of the season. And to that extent, I wonder if it's possible if they have the original negatives to basically reprint, because they should have the edit decision list around somewhere to work off of. Because this is the stuff that's archived. You have to keep record of this sort of stuff, and so I wonder.
Complete versions of the episode exist at the Paley.
Right.
They're over at the Paley. The whole show is available at the Paley. So, in this actual broadcast version, so you can just pull from that. So, but to change the digression to a different digression, I love the way the dancing is adorable.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Carmine sings. And the girls dancing, Frank and Edna dancing, somewhat reluctantly. And it's adorable. It's absolutely sweet. And Eddie does a good job here. The chances are she's sung more than once.
Mm-hmm.
And enter the boys with their anniversary piñata.
Oh, God, yes. Oh, yes. No, I love that bit. That is...
oh, yeah.
It's so... And it's... I do like that there is an element of the group's history coming to play here, and the boys coming in, meaning well, and causing absolute bedlam is... It's so them.
Yes. And they thought this would be a great gift for them.
Mm-hmm.
Just get this big old piñata from the land of milk and honey that is Tijuana.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they'd find Tijuana to be a land of milk and honey. They had a big old anniversary piñata, and all the chocolate is melted into a single lump in the center.
Mm-hmm.
And then Squig trying to show them how it works, and he just ends up beating everybody, including the piñata, to death while the whole thing tilts sideways. The whole trail just tilts to the left.
Right. The thing about the piñata that I do see makes sense, though, is Frank likes to bop things with sticks and is very violent, and Edna likes pretty things.
Yeah.
So it is technically serving both of the people here.
Yeah. In the end, that is a gift that is thoughtful and pleasing to both parties in this marriage. So good on them. Good on the boys for actually thinking. David gets a lot of great bon mots. Squeak gets a lot of great bon mots. Like, then why'd you try to pin it on me? They said it would melt in your mouth, not in your bird.
Yeah, David just owns so much of this season. I'm like in shock at how many moments through this season he just he'll get the best zingers, he gets the best little monologues. It's pretty incredible.
Somewhere around season 6, he becomes so assured in who Squiggy is and how he would react and how he would feel things that he wears that skin perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time we get to season 6, there's such a lot of confidence in him and in his portrayal of Squiggy that he just knows how to come in, slay, and get out.
That's a good point. Yeah, I didn't think of that, but you're right. Yeah, because when you consider how much development he was able to give him in season 5 with Testing and Duke of Squigman, it makes a lot of sense that now he's finally okay, I understand all the major nuances for me to just, as you're saying, put it on like a glove and then take it off when I'm done.
Yeah, and just think, Squeak started as a very young juvenile delinquent in those credibility gap sketches.
Mm-hmm.
And he started as a very young an adolescent teenager when he and Michael played those two characters, stoned out of their minds in their dorm rooms. And the way Squiggy has evolved from being a juvenile delinquent who liked saying the F word a lot to these kids who these two guys, really. These two guys who have grown up and are slowly becoming adults, almost in spite of themselves, are starting to take on real adult responsibilities. We're going to get a lot into the how the talent agency works next season. We're going to experience them a lot more as two guys who are starting to grow up and starting to get some concrete under their feet and are starting to really find out who they are in Los Angeles. David and Michael, in different ways, have kind of created these characters and built these characters and improved these characters step by step and episode by episode. And here, this is another example of David confidently hitting a ball in the ballpark. A metaphor wherever he is, I'm sure he appreciates. Because that man loved baseball.
That he did. Oh, goodness. We miss you, David.
Yeah. Oh, we do. I just have to mention, cute as everybody is here, Michael looks great in that shirt. I specifically love that Mexican-style print shirt that he's wearing. I don't think we ever see him again in it, but it's very perfectly hippie Lenny.
Yeah.
And Laverne and Lenny sit on the floor.
Yeah, I remember you having to mention that, having to point that out. Floor sitting.
Floor sitting, hand-holding, floor sitting. Cute. And then Frank and Ed take their spots, and Shirley ends up squeaking next to her and Carmine on the other side. And they all sit down to watch the broadcast. And what I specifically noticed during this thing, I know it's ridiculous, but I noticed how much that Lenny is beaming up at Frank in pride.
Aww.
And happiness. It's really cute. It's really cute. He keeps looking at him and smiling at him. It's really sweet. And there's no one applaud. And Squiggy believing in Frank. And then we get to Frank's gentle discussion of his wife on national television, how much he loves her, and that he remember the anniversary. And happy anniversary to her. It's so cute.
It is
so
very
sweet.
cute. Yeah, it's the reveal, the ending really kind of brought it home in a way. Like it was, I don't know, there was something about the whole, mayhem of the trailer that I liked, but I don't know, just the energy, despite the physical energy escalating, I felt that the sort of emotional energy was sort of slowing down. And I felt like at the end, it sort of brought it back. It brought it home.
Oh, yeah. In the end, it is all completely about how much Frank and Edna love each other.
Yeah.
And how important the relationship is with one another. And in the end, that is what underpins this episode and what makes it so good. Really so good.
Yep.
And of course, the hug. And then Laverne and Lenny monkey rolling across the floor on top of each other.
Yep.
Squiggy taking a diving leap onto Shirley's lap, too.
Oh, boy. Yeah, because of course, we have to have lap jumping.
Honestly, it's an anniversary episode. There should be lap jumping.
There should be, yeah. Well, I mean, they do drop Edna into Frank's lap at one point, if I recall. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She was on sitting in his lap to hug him. So.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, and Edna does end up in his lap in Child's Play. That happens eventually.
Oh, that's right. Yes, it does.
Yes.
But yeah. I'm kind of curious as well what it was like for the writing of this episode, given that both the writers for this episode, we were talking about how it connects with all these different components of the show.
Yes.
Both of the writers, so Winifred Hervey, this is their only credited episode for the show. It had worked as a story editor for The New Odd Couple and Benson and stuff around. But, after this, so this kind of was the launching pad, for, jumping behind the scenes and just being this, bang up producer and writer, especially on Golden Girls, Fresh Prince. And,
yes.
But it's I'm kind of curious, what those discussions were like in the writer's room, for how to get them get her and Cheryl up to speed on these different on these kind of characters in this relationship and what it needs to feel like. Because as well, Cheryl, first of only 2 episodes, the second one doesn't even come up until season 8. Now, Cheryl, interestingly, I'm wondering if the potential for those little kind of interpersonal human dynamics comes up because Cheryl Lou ended up working on Punky Brewster with Declan as both a PA and a writer. and also worked on like Perfect Strangers, writing 15 episodes, and getting by with Cindy, including episodes directed by Judy Askins. So,
Ah.
which makes me wonder if, like, were these both of these writers, especially like in the case of Cheryl, given how many connections to prior authors who were on the show and actually had kind of left by this point and really weren't as active, were they around in like season 3 or 4, 3, 4, 5, and this was like their chance to actually like kind of get more in front of that space? Because it is interesting that as an episode that has to have all of this history involved, it actually holds on to that pretty well. And as we mentioned, like there's the timeline. They understand the timeline. August of '58 kind of makes sense, kind of lines up, even though there was no series Bible for the show. And
Well, there was. I have found out subsequently there was a series Bible for this show.
Oh.
I know because a friend has seen it, which is interesting because sometimes it does not. It feels like there is total discontinuity going on.
Interesting. Okay. Fascinating.
Yeah, so there is in fact an extant, existent series Bible. So we have proven that is true.
Interesting. Okay, I'm very curious now. That actually has me very, very interested. But yeah, it's a very So ultimately, what I'm getting at is that I found this to be an episode that does really work for the most part. It's just a case of, for whatever reason, I feel sort of disconnected from it the way I have for much of season 6. Like, I keep wanting to like it more than I do.
Yeah.
And this is, however, though, one that is strongly executed by two authors that had not been credited before, probably were in the writer's room, may have worked as consultants uncredited, or, had conversations with them. But anyway, I'm fascinated. Very fascinated.
I absolutely do know that there were a lot of writers who happened to work in the writer's room, and often they would be assigned to rewrite scripts that were written by the credited writers. Sometimes on the fly, sometimes it'd be two of them. For Cindy Beagle, she and her partner, Lisa Kite, they rewrote the entirety of season 4 themselves.
Yeah.
For instance, before it hit the screen. So I have no idea what she was doing behind the scenes. She talks about in her Foundation interview how she pitched Laverne and Shirley. She really wanted to be on Laverne and Shirley. She pitched them, and that's how she ended up there. We will link that interview. The way she talks about the situation is phenomenal. Just the way she talked about how Gary gave her a chance. One of the many people that Gary looked at and said, "I'm going to give you a chance."
Wow.
Gary did that to so many unknown people, so many neophytes, writers, directors, producers. If you were ever kind to him at some point, he would always give you a chance, basically. Is what I know from what people have said about Gary Marshall. So he had an eye for both an eye for talent and an ability to spread kindness and to return kindness.
Yeah, there are not many people like that in the world.
Yeah.
So it's still such a powerful, person to have had had it all,
Yeah. Nobody was like Gary Marshall, and he knew how to give back what was given to him, basically.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. It's wild. It's just, we don't hear enough stories about that these days.
Yeah, true. Very, very true. Ultimately, I just like this one. We gotta talk about the tag scene though. Where Frank has a bunch of little old lady groupies.
Yes, I'm glad we bring this up. Yes, first of all, found that absolutely delightful and super cute. I want to bring this up because there is one of them that is credited on IMDb. I think she may be mentioned as well in the credits. I don't have the episode on hand to double check. So Frank fan number 1 who is credited as Leota Richards. Yes. One of the most legendary bit player actors in Hollywood history, with over 250 credits to her name.
Holy crap. Wow. That is a legacy.
And majority of which are uncredited, but there are people that are in the know that say that was her. The reason this one is special is also multifold. I mean, obviously, the IMDb listing it's dizzying how many well-known shows that she's credited on. She lived to the age of 90, and basically kept doing this for as long as she could. I mean, she goes back to like the 40s and 50s practically. Interestingly, she was born Leota Carol Knapp.
Oh.
Now,
as in Knapp Street.
Now, there is a real Knapp Street in Milwaukee, but it's an interesting coincidence. So
that's cool.
But yeah, anyway, I thought that was really neat. And
It is.
given and
It
she
really is.
had been, I think, on other projects that even Gary Marshall and other folks from the show had worked on. So it's not entirely outside the realm of possibility that they're just coincident more of a coincidence there happened to be a real Nap Street in Milwaukee and that they actually were naming it a bit after her. Who knows? It's but I suspect it really is, they knew there was a real Nap Street in Milwaukee. Somebody had been to Milwaukee and knew that, but or looked at a map of the city or something. But anyway, it's just cool that one of the people that shows up at the scene is such a legend, just for that brief moment.
Yes. That's so cool. That's wonderful. She deserved her time in the spotlight. That's neat. That's super cool. Then, I love that Laverne's a little embarrassed by the two of them kissing in the kitchen, by the way. That's so
Yeah.
cute. Yeah. Yeah, it's adorable. It's adorable. I love it. All this is really, 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 really cute. This is a cute little episode. Do you have more notes, or are we at ranking time?
I think we're at ranking time. I'm all done. Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to go first?
Sure. This is a high 7 for me. This is about a high 7.
Hmm.
It's not in the glorious climbs of the 8s and 9s, where it would be in my top 5. It bubbles just under, so it's probably about a 7.9 to me.
Right on. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 5.5, 6. Yeah. I like I said, I wish that there was more that I liked about it. I wish that I enjoyed it deeper than I do, but
Yeah.
it's a case of, so it's one that I appreciate. I don't, because we're coming up on an episode pretty soon that like I completely checked out of, and like it wasn't even that it was like offensively bad, it was just boring. So this didn't bore me, but I had very little interest in coming back to it. That was the thing.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
it didn't, I guess.
Interesting- Sorry, go ahead.
Well, just to say that it didn't emotionally grab me the way I wanted it to. It didn't grab me the way The Wedding did. It didn't grab me the way other Frank and Edna stories have.
Yeah. It's interesting to me which episodes have kind of latched on for you this season. They're obviously the ones I thought you would like, for sure. I definitely knew that you would like the dating game. I definitely knew that you would like Born Too Late, which I was like waiting to show you. So it's interesting to me what has pinged your mind here and what's just like, no, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Different strokes for different folks, people.
Yeah.
That's the key. Variety makes the world go round.
Yeah, and we'll get to this in the season 6 wrap up, I think, overall, because I think I'm finally starting to kind of get some of my thoughts of what's happened, I think, a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it hits everybody differently, the transition on this show.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just won't come along with the ride for it, especially after how strong season 5 is. Sometimes people just won't come along with that ride, and it's like, no, this is a shark jump. For some people, it's like, oh, this is better. This is more interesting. This is more nuanced. In season 7, especially, the characters get a little bit more nuance. So in some ways, it's the lateral move. For some people love it more. Some people don't like it. Some people consider this the shark jump. Some people consider season 8 the shark jump. So, a lot of people feel different ways about the show and when it hits its worst points. So, yeah. So you might be one of those people that says no to the California years. Some people love them. Some people think that it's just a neutral feeling for them. Some people just really hate it when we fall off the cliff in season 8. Some people don't. Some people actually like those seasons the best. So,
yep. Yeah, we have been in fact chastised for having made too much of a regular joke about season 8 through the years.
Yeah. Well, you haven't seen it yet. We'll see how you react to it. It's a coming around the bend. We'll get there.
Yeah. In any case, though, we've gone through 6 seasons now, and it's been a long journey.
Indeed.
And I also wonder to that extent with things like 5th anniversary, where I was seeing this under these sort of conditions, if seeing it out of different conditions would have been more beneficial, because season 6 was something I was admittedly excited to get to, but given just kind of life things and just kind of focus and interest and exhaustion, that it felt more like I was doing it out of a sense of responsibility. As I said, we'll get back to this in a few more pods, but yeah, altogether, 5th anniversary is still good. I don't think it's a bad episode. I just it's one that I don't feels passionately about.
Yeah.
And I think that's the catch, is that with this season and with these characters, I have felt more passionate about it in the past that I just don't feel so here. And even when it comes to season 6, there have been other episodes in the season that have really gotten my exhilaration up. And I wish this did more of that. And I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. But as I said, I think that may go into the meta that either goes in the top 5 or goes into our sort of season 6 wrap up with Child's Play.
Yeah, we will get there. We will get there step by step. Slowly we will turn. Bit by bit.
Anyway, but yeah. Is that all for today, my lady love?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, thank you again, everybody, so much for joining us for Night After Night. And if you'd like to know more, please find us at Night After Night Pod on Facebook, Tumblr, WordPress, Patreon, YouTube, or wherever good podcasts can be found. Or if you would like to get to us more directly and be able to, chat, deal with watch-alongs, and see all the cool stuff we find in the Laverne and Shirley fandom, you can find us at Night After Night PC on Twitter. And so for the next episode, we kind of got to get the let out, don't we? I feel like we've been in too much. We just damn, man, we've been in. We need to get out. We need to get out like Plout.
Time to cast out that irritation, y'all. Laverne and Shirley have to hide an AWOL Sergeant Plout who has escaped the military to take a shot at her true love. Music. This is out, damn Plout.
All right. Vicki Lawrence coming back. We know it's going to be good.
Oh, yeah. Bye, y'all. Don't forget, keep the cake on the counter and stand in the middle of the room. Don't be a human gyroscope. That's how you get bruises.
Yeah, don't be a human gyroscope unless you have a good stabilization gimbal system attached to you that either fires a smart gun or a Steadicam.
True. Always wear a harness.